into the water. And this would cloud, decrease the amount of sunlight in the water. And that would mean that the algae would die. When the algae would die, there's no more oxygen production in the water, and it becomes anoxic. When it becomes anoxic, then anaerobic bacteria begin to flourish, and they emit sulfur dioxide, SO2, yeah, sulfur dioxide, which of course, and hydrogen sulfide, HS2. And those are both poisonous gases. You might remember them from chemistry class. They're noxious gases. And so the islands and the coastal areas of the world, many of them, not all of them, but many of them are going to become almost uninhabitable. And there's really no way to tell until it happens which ones. We considered Mauritius. We considered it some time ago. Suhas family is from Mauritius. And it's, Prabhupada liked Mauritius a lot. Srila Prabhupada went there, I think, 2 or 3 times. And he even said that Mauritius could become the first Krishna-conscious country. But there's some problems there. That right now there's a great deal of economic problems in Mauritius. People are leaving Mauritius and going elsewhere because they can't afford to live there anymore. I haven't checked the prices of things compared with Chile, but it looks like Mauritius is becoming a lot less attractive. It's crowded also. Like everywhere else, there's been an increase in the population, and you know, there's only so much land. It's an island. So even though it's very nice, it's tropical, like that, you know, it's dicey. We want to be somewhere inland, well inland, because there's going to be real problems with the ocean. The whole ocean could become anoxic. The whole food chain in the ocean will almost certainly be affected by some of these upwellings of sediment and gases and stuff like this. So we want to go someplace that's landlocked, you know, like the Western Ghats. Someplace like, you know, way back in.
Theo, I can buy enough long-lasting food and survival tools to make it through the next few years, but I will really be missing associating with pure devotees. I really want to be around like-minded people working toward a common goal. If we are unable to create our own community due to circumstances beyond our control, can we join you in India and contribute to creating sustaining one there?
That's an option. That's an option. We haven't figured out the details yet. This whole scheme is still in the planning and gestation stages. So, you know, it may take some time to figure it all out. But, yeah, that's certainly a possibility. But something else I want to say is that wherever you are, you can start a community. It's perfectly possible because things are going to change. One of the hardest things about preaching in the West is that people have this fixed idea that the purpose of life is to simply to consume, to enjoy. And this is such a strongly fixed idea because it's educated into us. It's trained into us by years and years of advertisements and so many things. It's very difficult to overcome this idea and give the different concept that life is to serve. Purpose of life is to serve, not to enjoy, but to be enjoyed by Krishna. We are teaching the complete opposite of the whole thrust and direction of modern civilization. So naturally, people find it very hard, even if they believe, even if they're convinced intellectually, they find it very hard to implement these things. Well, that's all going to change. The center of gravity of the consciousness of the population is about to shift. And when it does, the preaching is going to become a whole lot easier. This idea of self-organizing communities is going to become a mainstream consciousness. Right now, up until now, it has been very much fringy consciousness. You know, if you said, well, I'm going to go to the woods and join this community, people are like, oh, a cult, right? And of course, the mainstream media has done its best to demonize any kind of alternative culture group. That's quite intentional. I mean, the powers that be do not want these things. They want to be in control. They want to dictate the agenda. They want to make you completely dependent on their big corporations and factories and all that nonsense. Then you become basically a slave. You have to consume their stuff. You have to buy their products. You have to work for them. So we're saying the opposite. We're saying, no, don't buy those products. Raise your own food. Build your own house. Don't work for the man. Work for yourself. Organize your own community with your own values. You see? Your own type of association. But we need more people who are leaders, who are going to stand up and say, these are our values. This is the cause of why the whole civilization is falling apart. And we're not going to do that. We're going to do this other thing that has been proven to have more lasting values, more lasting basis for civilization. See? And you can do that wherever you are. You know, we're not going to try to preach to people here in Chile, because to do that we would basically wouldn't make ourselves any friends, you know, in the government. But we can go to India. We can go to India and we can be as outspoken as we like. And they'll love it. You see? So that's why we want to go there. We want to go there because we would be surrounded by a society, a culture that already accepts most of our conclusions. Here, we're always fighting against the majority view. Even though the majority is going to shift, they're not going to shift completely, you know, they're not going to shift as far as to be where we are. They're going to shift as far as, oh, we can't trust corporate society anymore. We're being exploited. They're going to realize, oh, they're making us into dependents, into slaves. We don't want that anymore. And self-organizing communities are going to become very, very popular in the next 2 years. So if you get ready now, if you start planning now, if you start putting out the roots and making the foundation now, in the next year or so, I would guarantee you, by next year this time, you will have people lined up at your door begging to join your community. Hundreds of them, thousands of them. You'll be turning people away. You'll be able to choose the cream of the crop. Because things are going to change. In fact, things are going to change so much that people's heads are going to be spinning and they're not going to know how to respond. And anybody that has a plan, anybody that knows what to do, is going to be seen as a leader. People are going to be completely out to sea. They're going to be like, what do we do now? Oh, look what just happened. Oh, man, what are we going to do? And anyone who can simply remain calm and say, we have this plan which was conceived by this ancient civilization which has lasted through every crisis in human society and history and is still alive and doing very, very well. And if we follow these instructions, everything is going to work out. Here, just let's do this and this and this and this. And if you have the plan, If you have the right idea, people will automatically follow you. You will become a leader. Especially if you're chanting Viṣṇusahasranāma, because that's one of the results. You see? So we need students who believe in themselves, who have enough self-confidence to want to be the leaders, and to make plans and to start working toward being the leaders. We have the knowledge, we have the tools. All we need is for you guys to take the responsibility and do it. We can't be everywhere, and we can't be everything to everyone. You know, we're just human. Sometimes disciples have this idea that the guru is like Superman, you know, leap tall buildings at a single bound. But that's unrealistic. You know, I'm still human, I still have the